Hello, welcome to VMC. I'm Dr. M. Today we are going to do a video of the series Popular People. The most often requested person from the previous video is Dr. Karen Becker. So let's dive in. Join me. You'll learn something. It's self-proclaimed that Dr. Becker is the most followed veterinarian on the internet. True that is, however, she does claim it, and Karen Shaw Becker graduated from Iowa State College of Veterinary Medicine in 1997. Apparently did 2 exotic animal internships, started up a vet clinic in the Chicago area in 1999. She had done certificates in homeopathy and acupuncture. In 2006, an exotic animal clinic was apparently opened, and in 2011, a pain management clinic was apparently opened. She then went on to do a rehabilitation certificate of some sort in 2013, co-authored a few books. The most recent one came out in 2021. Dr. Karen Becker also reports that 2 million people subscribe to the daily health and wellness article that she puts out. And yes, she does actually maintain a veterinary license in 3 different places: Nova Scotia, Illinois, and Arizona, that I could confirm. Now, through the Mercola website, there are a number of different supplements that are sold, as well as treats that she calls Becker Bites, and she believes that they are the best and healthiest treats available on the market. And the story of how these treats came to be is essentially that her mother started baking them in her home kitchen, and then eventually they made a family business out of it, and now she sells these treats and advertises them under a bunch of catchy fear-mongering phrases, like the fact that they're organic or GMO-free or human grade, and all these other things that have no bearing on how actually good a certain substance is for a animal. There is also an immune balance supplement that is sold, and it contains a few different ingredients. A prebiotic fiber, which sure is fine, that could help gut health for some pets, although this specific prebiotic isn't researched. There's also beef colostrum, which is useless as animals are no longer able to absorb this colostrum once they are older than a day of age. There's also a substance called Moringa oleifera. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, and there are claims that it's been used for a long time, but there are 0 links to any of this purported research. Dr. Becker just claims things, and those beliefs are meant to be taken as solid fact. There are no research studies, there are no surveys, there's absolutely nothing backing up any of these products. These products are another example of that red flag that we've talked about previously. If a product claims to have 0 side effects and to cure or treat any and everything, then the likelihood that it is effective for anything at all is very low, and it's much more likely that you are being sold a snake oil. I'd also wondered for a very long time where this relation of kibble or canned food diets being called McDonald's for pets came from, and I found it on Dr. Becker's website. I don't know if she is the original person who started using that claim, but she certainly does perpetuate it. And this is a term that is used with 0 research or evidence to back it up. They are not at all the same thing. The companies that are working very hard to follow those guidelines and exceed them are using many decades of research studies to inform how these diets are formulated, and they are carefully testing the bioavailability of the micronutrients that are in these diets. And these diets are meant to be complete and balanced diets for specific size and life stage of specific species of animals. McDonald's does not do any such thing. Any McDonald's product is not meant to be complete or balanced for any life stage of human nutrition, nor does it ever claim to be. This is just nonsense. So then Becker proceeds to advocate for raw or minimally processed diets. And And then people that also like this way of thinking glom on to the fact that Dr. Becker is a veterinarian, and they use that as proof that raw diets are better, when in fact the body of research and the expert consensus statement of veterinary nutritionists all claim the very opposite. There's zero evidence that raw or minimally processed diets are better, and many, 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 many risks to feeding them. I also saw a interesting diagram about dental health for dogs on Dr. Becker's social media, and it had 6 points, and the first 3 are actually very true. And then we get to number 4, which states that you need to feed a species appropriate fresh diet. There's no research that this does anything for dental health. The claim that it's helpful is misrepresenting the information we actually have. But it goes downhill from there, because point 5 recommends to feed bones. Please do not do this. As veterinary dentists tell us over and over and over again, if you cannot indent it with your fingernail, and or if you hit it against your kneecap and it hurts, it is too hard. Dogs have a much thinner enamel to their teeth than people do, and so they are much more prone to breaking their teeth, especially when they chew on very hard objects. Bones do not slow down dental disease. They do break teeth and cause foreign bodies and cause GI obstructions. Do not feed your dog's bones. This is now going from not proven into actively harmful recommendations for your dogs. And then the last recommendation is to feed a probiotic. I mean, this is just a bit confusing to me. Is there any research showing this helps dental health? No. Is it likely to hurt dental health? Probably not. And going through her websites and posts and social media, this sort of a pattern was shown over and over and over and over again. Information that is presented ranges all the way from sound and scientific to maybe it might be true, to ridiculous nonsense, to dangerous, and everything in between. And I would find all of that all in the same post, which made it very confusing and difficult to parse through. And I can see why a lot of people fall for this information. While reading through a lot of the articles that Dr. Becker puts out onto the internet, I just found pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of claims that are presented as absolute fact when they are not. There's an awful lot of fear-mongering and a lot of everything is bad except what I'm trying to sell you. And whenever that ends up being the summary of the message, that is a huge red flag. Becker also has a lot of nonsense claims surrounding cancer and lifespans in pets, and it's simply more of the same cherry-picked, misrepresented data that isn't actually what the experts in the field are claiming. The likelihood of that singular person who is not an expert in this field being correct without any research to back up their claims is near zero. It's much more likely that groups of experts putting out consensus statements based on peer-reviewed published research are going to be doing a much better job of telling you what is actually factual and true. Make sure that you find consensus statements from experts in the applicable field. Overall, the technique that seems to be used is simply a lot of propaganda type information and just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that is often successful because if people hear the same information, even if it's wrong, they become more likely to believe that it is true. The output of articles and posts is prolific, and I wish that I had the energy and time to produce half as many research-based posts for you on social media. Research studies that are peer-reviewed and published are very rarely mentioned, and when they are, the data is misrepresented or cherry-picked a lot of the time, and any research that does not align with what is already believed to be true is simply ignored or bashed in some way. In reality, You cannot know things for a fact if there isn't peer-reviewed published research backing it up. And you also need to be looking for the consensus statements from a group of experts in a particular subject. And Dr. Becker is not an internal medicine specialist. She is not a veterinary nutritionist, and to be making the claims that she does is astonishing to me. And there also seems to be some of what's called the false consensus effect, where if one is in a group of people that all have similar beliefs and everybody is saying the same things over and over and over again, everybody gets more fierce with how much they believe those things that are being told repeatedly, even if those things are untrue or dangerous or harmful. And when you are in these groups that echo the same information over and over again, this leads to the feeling that more agree with you than is actually true. It's also possible that this leads to spending more and more time with people who agree with you without considering any information to the contrary. It's very much the human nature to search for things that reinforce what we already believe. I think that I might be getting a bit of a thicker skin about reading through this sorts of nonsense, as my headache is not near as bad as it was after I finished the video in this series on gene dots. I would love for you to comment below who you would like me to cover next. I'm happy to add them to the list. We shall see you next Friday. Take care. Bye.